Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
Geek Fruit is an IVM production, and if you happen to like our show, then you're probably going to like the Poudcast, a Bombay-based food and culture podcast hosted by the Daily Pow. So if you want to check out cool stuff in Bombay, you know where to listen.
You're listening to the Geek Fruit Podcast.
On this episode of the Geek Fruit, we discuss Netflix and Marvel's latest show, Iron Fist. Now, this show has received a very unkind reception from critics. Siddhant?
I mean, we are going to be a little bit unkind here as well.
We are going to be a little bit unkind here as well, but we think there's some good things about the show too. So we discuss all of this. We discuss...
unintentionally funny scenes.
Very unintentionally funny scenes. And we relate it to the comics as well and how the two connect.
Yep. And there'll be a little bit about the Defenders and what we're looking forward to there. But there'll be a lot about organic cornflake ice cream.
There is a surprising amount of organic cornflakes ice cream in this. So there's a lot to discuss on this episode. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned.
Hello there, my name is Naveen Narona, and as a gay person in India, I get asked a lot of stupid questions.
Beta, is it LGBT or eligibility?
How do two men procreate?
Bro, is Grindr better than Tinder or what?
We answer all these questions and much more on my podcast, Keeping It Queer, where I talk to individuals from the LGBT community in India and learn about their personal stories. Catch new episodes of Keeping It Queer every Monday on Audioboom, iTunes Global, SoundCloud, YouTube, or generally any of the podcasting apps. In fact, you can now download the IVM podcast app and listen to it. Happy listening.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the Geek Fruit Podcast. My name is Tejas. I have with me Dinkar and Siddhant. Hi guys.
Hey!
Hey, what's up?
How's it going? Alright, cool. Fun episode today to talk about. Lots to talk about. Today we're going to be reviewing Iron Fist, the fourth and final Defender from the Netflix Marvel series.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about that. I want to preface it again. Now, here's the thing. Here's what happens when we have to wait a week until we have to review things which have already been reviewed by the world.
Yeah.
And in this case, has been trashed heavily. I definitely think that while we will talk about its negative, sides of it and why it's, been, a lot of people have discouraged others from watching it because it's a poorly written show. I think what we can do is we can talk a little bit about the positive parts of the show and talk about the Netflix universe and as we do whenever we discuss these shows and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So let's try and stay positive, guys, because it's going to be hard. Yeah. All right, cool. So, Iron Fist.
Yes.
Before we talk about Iron Fist, who is Iron Fist? A lot of people don't know, and which is why they kind of stayed him off until the fourth show to kind of present him to the audience.
One of the lesser Marvel heroes, if you ask me.
I know you've always said this.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Iron Fist. I thought it was like your generic, kung fu kind of stuff, which did not work great for me. I thought one of the things that bothered me about Iron Fist, which is also kind of its hook and the interesting bit, is the comics are all second person.
Second person, yeah.
Like the narration is all like, you are Iron Fist, instead of it's not I and it's not Iron Fist did this, which is, it's a cool gimmick, but also I kind of get tired of it.
Yeah.
So,
although,
but they've changed that.
I have to say, the origins of these two heroes, when I say two, I mean Luke Cage and Iron Fist, are intertwined, not just because of their relation in the comics, but because of their the process that came to be in making them who they are.
Yeah.
The 60s was sort of Marvel's age where they created all these things, all these superb characters that went on to be
but that was them basically
marquee characters.
Yeah, they were just going like, hey, what do we not have now? Let's do that.
So how it really worked out was what was really big in the 70s was blaxploitation films.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then that's when Luke Cage was formed. And then after Bruce Lee died, it was all kung fu exploitation films.
Yes.
So they had to have
the
kung fu guy getting in there.
Yeah.
And these two are also an attempt to reach out beyond the suburban white kid audience that they had.
Yeah.
Make it more city
diverse,
city comics.
Urban, shall we say?
Sure. I don't know.
Street level.
The more adjectives you add to this, the more you lose.
The deeper we're digging.
Are you a fan
ourselves.
of Iron Fist? Sid?
I am a huge fan of Iron Fist.
As
of
am
the
I.
new series is more
Yeah,
specifically.
the Ed Brubaker series.
Ed Brubaker
for sure.
series, 100%.
Yeah.
I read all of it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It is fantastic, yeah.
That's because Ed Brubaker is fantastic.
This is true.
And I think the funny bit is that the character, when you look at it in these comics, you don't make those associations that you have in the TV show, which we're going to talk about shortly.
Yeah.
And I think it's literally writing and treatment. But the other thing is, he has such a clear purpose in that.
Yeah.
And you get it, you understand what he's about.
Yeah.
And it's the thing with characters today is that we constantly expect them to have an arc.
Yeah.
But in the comics world, if you've had a character for 40 years, there's no arc really. There's just, this is the character evolving over decades.
But here's the thing that I love about comic book characters now in today's age, right? Is because, you're right. They were all created in a setting, whether it's Captain America, during the World War thing and used as propaganda and things like that. Or like you're saying in blaxploitation, or, the whole, American Chinese thing.
Kung Fu exploitation.
Kung Fu exploitation, or whatever it is. But I like that a lot of these characters, and when they're done well, is when they address this kind of midlife crisis of these characters, right? What does it really mean to be Captain America in today's world has been addressed so well in like the comic books right now, and as well as in the movies. I think they've really taken the essence of that character, saying that, hey, you literally were on ice for like so long, and then when they came back in the Ed Brubaker stuff, even Civil War in the comics and everything like that, they really addressed his whole, this weirdly uncharacteristic of today's age, or, that whole solemn kind of good, morally righteous kind of guy, and kept him that way. They kept him honest. And I think that kind of addressing that weirdness in today's world where everyone's super cynical and jaded about people and things.
Yeah.
I think that's what really made the character really well. And I think the problem and maybe this is the challenge for Ed Brubaker, I mean, like, why they even took on these characters and why they even took on like characters with Iron Fist, which has a questionable history now if you look at it, and you take them now into today's age. I think the challenge of a writer is to try to address that midlife crisis of these characters.
Stay true to the character, but address their context in today's world.
Exactly. Because they're not just standing there in time. It's the times have changed, and how they're viewed have not been changed.
Yeah, you can't do Luke Cage the same way it is.
You can't.
By the way, another
shouldn't.
weird similarity between Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Both of them wear yellow shirts that are like ripped open down to their...
Well, they did, yeah.
But that's
like,
literally...
What?
It's literally that same thing. Like, it was this whole...
The V-necks were big back then.
You have to be... you have to be colorful to be a comic book character. There wasn't no looking sleek in black and leather like Neo or something. That wasn't the game. The game was, look at me, I'm a character, I'm going to save you. When you can see me from a distance because I'm wearing...
There's no way you'll
I'm
miss
wearing
me.
like a canary yellow shirts which are like open.
Iron Fist, in the comics especially, I think, has a great look.
Yeah, he's killer, but it works only in comics.
It only works in
adapting
comics.
that shit must be hard, and
Yeah.
which is why they didn't do it in this show. I was kind of hoping that they would do an homage to it. I remember if
Which
you
they
watch
did.
Luke Cage,
Yeah.
in Luke Cage, it's really great because when they show the flashbacks to his prison and everything like that, he kind of steals people's clothes as soon as he gets out, and he's basically wearing exactly what
And
he
he
wears
tells
in the
himself he
comics.
looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
And there are like references to Power Man and all.
Perfect.
Cage's original
I love that,
name.
but they didn't do it as much.
They did it
Are we getting
once
into it? Are we
in
getting
Iron
into it?
Fist.
Are we doing Iron Fist? Okay, let's talk about
Let's get
Iron
into
Fist.
it, yeah.
So, you're not a fan of Iron Fist.
The comic.
We are fans of Iron
We
Fist.
are-
I've
I am
always
a
loved
fan.
Iron
Yeah,
Fist
me
because
too.
I think Danny Rand, the character, is awesome.
It's great. He's
I
a
think
great
he's
character.
great
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's a cool guy. I'm not so sure about, I'm not the biggest fan of his powers or anything like that. Like the chi and everything.
But that's the thing. Like, I think the original powers of Iron Fist until the Brubaker series were very unidimensional. And they were boring. But now, with Brubaker adding all his stuff to it, it became interesting.
The
So,
consciousness
So I
transportation
haven't
and
read
stuff.
the Brubaker run.
It's called The Immortal Iron Fist.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It came out when? 2008?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And
Man.
then
What
so basically,
his powers are he can punch hella hard. Is this true?
he does have fists like iron. That's true. Yeah.
I think, he's got a bunch of powers. It's also to do with his power is actually the energy force, right?
It's the energy.
Yeah. And that can be used in multiple ways. And they've really done that well in this run of the comics. And they show the evolution of all the Iron Fists it's like being the Phantom or something.
That's the thing. It's like the Ghost Rider. Or the thing, the Iron Fist is a mental. Like you become the Iron Fist. You don't die as the Iron Fist. You die as Danny Rand, and then you become then the next person.
The next person takes on the Iron Fist.
And the legend to become the Iron Fist itself is pretty crazy. You have to be in Kunlun. You have to train the whole thing. You have to do years.
You have to be invited to challenge Shala.
The dragon, and then you have to kill the dragon, which doesn't die. So it does die, but it just turns into an egg.
Yeah. Pretty much. And then it's respawn
again. And it's reborn. And when
but this is my question. Has everyone, I can't remember this, but has each Iron Fist defeated Shala in a different way, or is it only Danny Rand?
Apparently they've been doing it in different ways.
Because they all have the branding of Shala, but I know specifically
different places.
Yeah, but specifically he got it on his chest because he covers his. He bear hugs the dragon. Like, no man, we're gonna get through this.
And sort of slams him on the ground and breaks his neck or something.
And essentially that's how he gets on his chest. But I've seen other iterations where they all have it on their chest. I was like, oh, do they all have to do the awkward hug?
No. I mean, we looked into the I mean, there were some other ones that they showed older Iron Fists. And they had them in the different
but this is in Immortal. So it's a weird thing. I mean, we haven't even spoken about what that really means.
So but then these are the building blocks of the character. So you have to be in this. I think Kunlun is not given it enough in this story.
They avoided the series so much,
and I feel like we need to talk about it a little because it's going to help.
So how does one become the Iron Fist, and then let's talk about this show.
Sure. Yeah. So you have to be in Kunlun to become the Iron Fist, because that's where the goddamn dragon lives anyway. So you wouldn't know about it until you do. Now, what is Kunlun? It's a place that moves interdimensionally.
And appears every 15
years or something.
In the show, 15 years, I think they've changed it across the comics.
They've done stuff which makes it convenient. But basically, it turns, it becomes like, you cannot reach it unless it bridges with the earth. So it disappears for 15 years and it reappears for like a period of time where I guess they get entrance to come and learn and to become the Iron Fist. Or somebody from inside the
has
place
to come and which is what happens with Danny Rand. In the comics, what happens is I think Danny's this is the original one, and I just reread it. Danny's father has visited Kunlun before.
He wants to become. He was going to be the Iron Fist. But then this guy.
And in a crazy trip to kind of take his entire family there, he screws it up because it's crazy.
But that's also why he becomes super rich, because he learns like some secrets or something.
And he goes back to America and basically
becomes rich as hell.
And they're just damn it, brain drain.
And Harold Meacham's like, okay, this is this cool place you told me about because you trust me so much. You should take me as well. Of course, I'm going to take my wife and child with me because,
why not?
Blizzards are okay for small children and, people you love.
But, I think it's also got to do with like, I don't know if this is a stupid connection. Have you seen the movie Everest? Apparently, this was a corporate thing. Like a lot of people would go in like groups and these corporate, and climb Everest. And like then people died in the 90s, as the movie kind of shows. Well, this kind of remind me of this, like, hey, this is a corporate kind of Everest 1996. This is Kunlun.
The ultimate team building exercise.
Team building exercise, man.
And so, because Rand owns the company, he can bring his wag.
His wags.
Exactly. So they go over there, and the betrayal by Harold Meacham actually happens while they're pretty much on the bridge going into Kunlun. So he's like, let's go, gun, shoot, kill. I'm going to get you, young man. And then something happens and he falls.
He falls anyway.
He falls down.
And
then Danny Rand runs across the bridge.
Very Scar and Mufasa type scene happens. Right. And obviously the wife says, I'm not going to come with you, Harold, because you're an asshole. And so instead, I'm going to take my child to a more dangerous place where she gets devoured by wolves. And then poor Danny is left to his own devices.
And then he finds his way across.
And then he gets to come.
And he gets into
I mean, he's actually taken in. But anyway, so this is the rough kind of origin story.
This is the comic book origin.
Now in this show, let's deep dive into this. We're going to be spoiling a lot of it, so spoilers alert. We're going to spoil all of it, in fact. In this show, it's for the biggest part of this show, right? They don't address this origin story clearly. It's like it's like on purpose they're saying no, it's kind of awkward to tell the story, so we don't want to tell it. We're gonna kind of just shy away.
But this is the thing. The thing with this TV show, and this is a common recurrence that I've seen throughout. They'll take a very ordinary plot point, find the most awkward point in it, and continually press it. And in this case, that scene where the plane is going down.
Oh my God.
How many times are
tiring.
you going to show me the mother leaving her seat to make sure he's okay?
Yeah, it was just
and then she gets like shot out of the plane.
Yeah.
And they showed it like 8 times, man.
So here's the difference between Daredevil season 1 and this, right? In Daredevil, we get the origin. So he starts off as being Daredevil.
Yeah.
But we get the origin like of how he gets his powers and like in a lot of flashbacks. And while that can get tiring, the origin story itself is so tired. It's so jaded and things like that. It was still well done. Like it was still like they were saying, yes, this happened. Yes, this has happened, and now we're never going to show it again. But Stick comes back, and so it makes it like relevant for us to see the flashback at all, to introduce Stick as a character. So when he comes back, you're like, oh, this is that guy. But here, it's like the same, like you're saying, that pressing that button, like, oh, he died. And every time he's trying to focus his person.
There's no context.
But that's the funny bit, right? The Daredevil origin story is boring.
Yeah.
Okay, the Spider-Man origin story is boring. Guy gets bitten by a spider. Guy's dad gets.
The origin is Uncle Ben dying. Yeah.
Well, yeah. But if you want to do all that, and then guy gets hit by radioactive chemicals in his eyes and goes blind.
Yeah.
Okay, this dude is in his dad's private jet going to secret Shangri-La place, crashes into the mountain, survives a blizzard, mom gets eaten by wolves, survives betrayal, and then gets into the secret monk place, turns into a superhero. That's amazing.
It can be a big part of it.
That is a movie on its own.
Yeah,
So
it's the Batman Begins.
Why don't you make that? No, again, even Batman, like his parents get shot, dude. Like,
no, but I'm talking about his entire stay in the monastery and with the League of Shadows and everything.
Yeah. So we only see 2 things throughout. 3 things actually. One, you see the plane crashing. So his mom getting sucked out of the plane.
Yeah.
Then you see him like
sitting
lying in the
edge.
snow and these 2 monks hovering over him.
Yeah.
And the third one is him getting like beaten with sticks by 2 monks.
Yeah.
And all 3 of these pop up like 5 times an episode.
You're thinking he's in a Nepali prison.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
He was like a POW.
That's how they must do it. Like,
who
are you?
Just said these Buddhists were peaceful.
Where is his passport? I don't see it.
You're right. It was absolutely frustrating, and I think here's the problem with this show, right? So I just want to say it just at the very not even really outset now, but I enjoyed the show. I want to say that I enjoyed it because, and it's a very small category of people who like Iron Fist, who are fans of Marvel Comics, who will watch this shit anyway, right? I watch this shit out of it because I love Marvel and I'm a fanboy and I love Iron Fist, so I will watch it. But there were so many things that were just like, why won't you just say it's Iron Fist? Like, or do Iron Fisty things? The Kung Fu was disappointing.
It was all. Let's go this by order.
Let's do step by step.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm also a fan of the comic book. I'm enjoying the show 3/4 of the way in.
Yeah.
And then the end came, and I was like, why?
Oh, okay.
So
I want to reverse and say that this show picks up by the 10th episode. Only by the 10th episode. And from 10, 11, 12, 13, I was like, this is intriguing now and I can watch it. It's not the best, but I'll watch it.
But then it went one way and it swung the other. So I think everyone, what did you think, Dinkar, at the outset?
I also think it picked up towards
by the 10th
end.
episode. I tell you, by Bakuto's entrance and the whole hand
I felt like
story,
that started changing it up.
That's the story.
Right.
That should have been the story.
So we're all coming from a little bit of a different position.
So it should be interesting.
Alright, so we're going to take a short break and we're going to come back and now actually talk about the plot and the characters and Meechum, etc. Bakuto. We'll be back.
Finding the right drink at the right place could be a big challenge. Exploring a new destination to its fullest could be a daunting task. So tune in every fortnight and listen to the Drinks and Destinations podcast with Rajita and Samira.
We bring you news, views, and stories from the world of wine, beer, spirits, and travel. Find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Audioboom, or any other podcast app you choose.
Cool, we're back. We're talking about Iron Fist. I'm here with Dinkar and Siddhant.
Hi. Yo.
Alright guys, so let's talk about the actual characters and the plot of this.
So should we just start with favorite character?
I think no, let's just preface it.
Okay.
So the show starts out with us meeting Danny Rand when he comes back after 15 years in Kunlun, as they say on the show.
Kunlun, yeah.
In Kunlun. So
I always thought it was Kunlun.
He's come back
I felt
and
it was Kunlun too, yeah.
let me say this at the outset, he looks like a douche.
Yeah.
He's
He
one of
turns up
those
with,
guys,
My
who's
God.
backpacking across India.
And
those
he's,
guys.
and he's seen it, and you haven't. So he's better, guys.
He
Okay.
just looks like, dude, I just came back from India. Namaste. He seems like that kind of guy.
I got an Om tattoo.
I'm open, guys. I'm
He's
open.
open.
Y'all are being
You're closed.
closed. Y'all are
Dude,
being
you've got to go
closed.
to India.
Yeah.
Oh man, these guys
So
come to
he comes
India.
back and he goes to Rand, which is a company his dad started.
Just walks in without shoes
Just
or anything.
walks in. No shoes.
Fully entitled
dirty
AF.
ass track pants and hoodie.
I don't understand why he doesn't have shoes, why it's a big deal. And even in Kunlun, they wear bloody slippers. Yeah.
they
So
wear
what is
shoes.
your excuse now? Yeah.
Because dude, your feet need to be free, man.
Yeah.
Listen, are your feet open? That's all
My
I'm
feet
gonna
aren't
ask.
organic.
So he
man.
walks in and he starts asking for Harold, who was his dad's business partner. So he's
Yeah.
like, "Where's Harold? I've got to see Harold." And people are like, "He's dead, dude." And he's like, "What?"
Yeah. I think those first 6 episodes are so trying of your patience. Like they really test your patience because the whole story of the first 6 episodes is not about Iron Fist. It's about Danny Rand trying to say, "Hey, I'm actually a friend. I just want friends. You think this is about the money? I just want friends, man."
You think this is about the money? Let's just drive this car over a building.
Yeah.
You think this is about money?
And
this is what cars do actually. They drive over parking lot buildings.
Here's the problem, right? And this is what I feel really bad about. That a lot of people are gonna hate Danny Rand, right? Like a lot of
they
people
should. They've written him so badly.
They've written him badly. But here's the thing. This is why I'm saying the show picks up on the 10th episode. It's because in the 10th episode, I think it's Davos, when he comes back, he says, "You're a really shitty Iron Fist."
Yeah.
And I was like, yes!
Yeah.
This is what it is.
I saw a video review where they just kept cutting to that clip.
Yeah. Because, you know why? Because if we just established right at the beginning that this is a kid who doesn't know anything about the outside world.
Yeah, how old is he, by the way?
He was 11 when this thing happened.
Yeah.
He's 15 years since
Yeah,
then. So he must be 26, 27. He's
Okay.
our age, pretty much.
Right, yeah.
But he's a douche, okay?
Yeah.
Because he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I like that he was this optimistic kind of, like a weirdly naive. I'm cool with that. But they should have said he's naive. He's not Iron Fist yet. He's year 1 Iron Fist, which is like equal to day 1 Batman.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is that I know nothing. I am nothing. I just have this crazy energy because I was so committed to something that I didn't fully understand. Which they address only by the 10th, 11th episode.
I think that's the problem.
That's the thing.
The show doesn't understand who Danny Rand is.
Yeah.
Which is why Danny Rand doesn't understand.
that is the-
because he walks in talking about I am the Iron Fist. I've trained for 15 years.
No, he doesn't do that. He doesn't do. That's what Tejas is saying.
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
walks in going, "Can I meet my friends, please?"
Yeah.
But also,
and
he's
then
set
and the
up
rest
as-
of us.
He's like, "I'm
yeah,
Iron Fist."
But if it's my mom watching and she's like, "Okay, who's Iron Fist?" And,
Exactly, nobody
and
knows.
Nobody knows.
Exactly, this is my point.
Nobody knows who that is. Like,
And
it's
we
just some,
know a lot about it.
Yeah,
so
we're
fine.
like waiting.
We're just
you know
waiting.
what I did for the first 5 episodes? I was second screening this entire thing. It was playing in the background, and I was playing a puzzle game on my laptop because I couldn't be bothered.
This is the
I
perfect show to
couldn't
watch
be
in the
bothered.
background.
Yeah,
Seriously,
it was.
I want to admit, I
Yeah.
also
It's a
did.
background
I
music
did this.
show.
I did the
Exactly.
background stuff, and I
Because-
would never do that to a Netflix show.
Yeah.
It's also because they repeat everything 5 times just in case you miss
It's
it.
like
Yeah, because
it's
you
like
will
a
miss it.
K-serial,
Yeah.
bro.
You will miss it.
It's a K-serial.
So
Yeah.
he meets Ward and Joy, who
Yeah.
are Harold Meacham's kids, who now
Yeah.
run Rand.
Which is
Yeah.
weird because Ward is not his kid in the comic
yeah.
books.
So
Yeah,
now
yeah.
there's this
It's
whole
his brother.
There's a brother sister.
Yeah,
dynamic
Joy
here.
is the kid, is the
Yeah,
heir or
yeah.
whatever.
So now Ward and Joy are siblings who run Rand together.
Yeah.
And for the first 3 episodes, I think the entire plot is just he's like, "I'm Danny Rand," and they're
See.
like, "No, you're not."
Yeah.
Are
And
you?
then
Yeah,
him
no.
going into the psych ward, the moment he entered, I was like, oh
This has
my
gone to
god,
hell.
we're
This has
gonna
gone to
wait here. Dude, he wanted to get out, I wanted to get out of that, man. I was like,
I'm telling you, it was complete
please stop.
nonsense.
And-
See, the next 3 episodes are basically about Joy and Ward.
Yes.
And it was actually good that it was about Joy and
you know,
Ward.
Ward
because
is actually my favorite character from the
Ward
show.
is amazing.
Ward is the best.
So
Yes.
Ward
Ward is
is
easily the best.
You know, when I started watching the show and
Yeah.
when friggin' Faramir enters, okay,
Yeah.
and as Harold Meacham,
Yeah.
by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So Faramir is there, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Faramir.
I did not know that,
What are you not
honestly,
doing
till
at
you-
your post in Osgiliath?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
being scary as
Yeah.
anything in the world. Like,
so he's great, all right? I
Yeah.
just want to say, but the first thing that confused me, I was like, oh, that's your kid? Because they both like look like brothers or something.
Yeah, but that's the point also.
I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, kind of, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, fine. And then what? I was like, what a weird, strange character. But then throughout the show, this guy is the man, dude.
He's
like,
amazing.
If that
that
guy folds for 1 second, everything goes to hell.
Yeah.
And that's something your hero should be doing.
Yeah, exactly. He's the hero of the show, man.
Come on.
No, I want to say, what is great, but Colleen has my heart and soul, obviously.
Colleen was...
I knew. You know what?
Colleen.
I knew we'd reach this impasse. I knew we'd reach this impasse. Let's get to it eventually. I want to talk about Joy real quick, though.
Yeah.
Joy is a classic female character in a TV show. Passed over constantly. Has all the potential in the world to be something in this. And nobody gives a damn.
You know who's better at being Joy than Joy? In Jessica Jones, Tracy, what's her name? Trish.
Yeah, but she's cool though.
Trish is cool. Trish is damn cool.
Joy could have been cool though.
She could have been.
But no, we don't let her be.
But she's
supposed to be the glue that holds it together, but she's holding nothing.
Dude.
Because Ward still hates Danny.
Yeah.
Danny doesn't
Claire Temple is the glue that holds everything together.
We're gonna get... okay, so are we talking about Claire Temple now?
Okay, let's talk.
I've never seen somebody be so bored of their role in their entire life.
She seems so... I guess it's also because her character has literally seen the same arc like 4 times now. Yeah, but she's just bro, I know how this goes down, just trust me.
But you know what I'm waiting for? The time that she actually does something like drastic and go, dude, I've sat through this 3 times. Please listen to me. Don't do this.
But she doesn't have any superpowers, so she's
got her Wolverine claws now, though.
Why do they keep telling her this?
Into like a defender.
Why do they keep telling her she has no superpowers? Everybody knows that. In this show, they continually harp on about it.
Here's the thing. In these shows, superpowers don't mean shit.
Yeah.
Like, they don't mean anything, man.
Because Danny's entire superpower is, I can punch hella hard.
Yeah.
And my fist glows golden.
But I can only punch hella hard if I concentrate, like I'm trying to take a really hard dump.
Yeah. Well, so that was frustrating also. I was like, you're the Iron Fist. You've trained so long for this. Just be the Iron Fist, goddammit.
It literally doesn't work like that.
He got his ass kicked by employees.
He just does it. He just does Iron Fist things. He doesn't go and freaking think super hard and punch somebody.
I mean, there were some cool moments. Like, for example, like there was this one awesome moment. I remember that, where I finally thought, oh, this is the corridor fight scene I'm going to get from my Netflix show. My corridor Netflix.
Yeah. The one where you can get that corridor Netflix scene, though.
Yeah.
It's
when, like, Joy is being abducted by the Hatchet Man.
Yeah.
And, like, that was a cool scene, right? Like, because he kind of, like, whenever he gets into Iron Fist mode, I was like, now he's going to kick ass.
Yeah.
But it's always average.
Yeah.
One moment where, like, the Hatchet kind of comes and he just, like, basically makes
he turns it into a fist. That was great.
I was like, dude, more of that, please.
And then he didn't Iron Fist it again for the entire episode.
His chi was off, man. His chi was off. He needed to warm up. He needed to write tea. It was very cold. He wasn't wearing a jacket. Yeah. There are more excuses for why he can't be the Iron Fist.
Lame.
Dude, I can do the Tai Chi bits also now. I know it by heart. Like,
and there's no explanations. Dude, when he walks in...
No, there are only excuses. It's like, I've taken drugs, so I can't do it. I'm angry, so I can't do it. Yeah. I am like this, so I can't do it. She's with him, I can't do it. What are you talking about? Superman's like, I can't fly because I don't have a cape. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you can't. A lot of it was inexcusable. Like I was telling Dinkar, there's some. Let's just talk about. Forget the superpower. The dialogue is laughably bad in a lot of moments.
That's what brings the show down the most. It's
I think dialogue. I think the plot also. It doesn't move until, like I said, until the 10th episode.
And it just goes anywhere.
It does go anywhere. I mean, with
Harold Meacham. China for 5 minutes.
Yeah. I feel like the Netflix shows tend to take a while to start up, so I was willing to excuse that.
Yeah, that's
like Luke Cage took ages to get into it.
Immediately I started the puzzle game.
Yeah. Dude, Luke Cage was on by the 4th episode. As far as I'm concerned, I was like 4 episodes. Yeah, it was on.
That's 3 hours.
But dude, you have to set up the world, and that's the thing. Luke Cage has a world, has a vibe.
Okay, I give you that.
Iron Fist doesn't have that.
This show didn't have a world. This show was a building and Colleen's gym, and that one time where they had like a what do you call it, Chinese New Year in the middle of any time of the year which we don't know about, where he runs around and everyone's happy.
Yeah. So so here's the thing. So the plot is slow. The dialogue is so bad. I was just telling Dinkar before we started recording. I was just like, there's this one scene which actually is so meta. It told me what I wanted to say, which is just like it's this moment where they're like, hey, this is prior to the China trip.
Yeah.
And they're just like, how are we going to take Madame Gao? He's like, well, I'm going to get behind her, and then I'm going to grab her.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone's like, that's your plan? And I was just like, yeah. And he's like, well, I don't know how, we're just going to do it.
Yeah.
And then they're all looking awkwardly at each other.
There's an actual awkward silence.
Colleen is just like, I'm sure there's a way to handle this gracefully. I was like, that's the entire show.
Yeah.
That's the entire show.
I'll get behind her and grab her is how like Yogi Bear steals picnic baskets.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and he's smarter than the average bear.
The other thing is, who cares about Danny Rand at all?
Again,
what is
because
with this guy? He's a small child.
He's a child.
He's a bully also.
Yes.
Okay?
He
constantly picks on random people. Like that, he hit that kid for no reason.
Dude, that was so bad.
And he was acting, like I was watching it, and I was watching it with them, and he was doing his whole thing, and it looked awful. Like, it looked really funny.
And he hits him and the guy's like, and he just walks away and he's
this
like, shit.
actor, what's his name? His Finn something, right?
Finn Jones. See, I feel bad for him.
No, I don't feel bad for him.
He's not been given a good
He's not
script.
right for this at all.
Also, I think
he was a
just
terrible fighter.
I think
that's why the fight scenes were terrible.
No, I'll tell you, let me get behind. I want to defend Finn Jones here.
Okay, go for it.
I want to be the defender of the defender.
Defend the defender.
Yeah. So, Finn Jones, I think he's a good actor. Okay, I think he can act well because whenever I've watched a lot of the interviews, he is so behind Iron Fist and the role. He's not dismissive at all. I think yes, he may have gotten into a role that he didn't fully understand, but he's fully behind it. Here's the second thing. These guys didn't plan this show at all. The fight sequences were taught to them 15 minutes before they shot the scene.
Come on.
Have you seen that scene which has been going on Reddit, which is that fight scene when he's going to get his records for his thumbprint? There are 53 cuts in a 30-second scene.
That doesn't make sense at all.
Okay? Yeah. So, which just goes to show that they failed in planning and making this show, right? Like, they needed to get it out before Defenders because they were on schedule. Then also they had to fast-track Punisher. Also, they had to fast-track the Defenders show. So it was never going to be like... They were never going to take that time with it. And I think there wasn't a good showrunner in these two guys who were doing it. Because like even Luke Cage, there's vision there, dude. Like there's a proper vision. There is the Method Man. There's the vibe. There's the Wu-Tang.
No,
it's like perfect, right?
There's a whole vibe in
Even
Luke
if
Cage.
it's not the perfect
you're
show.
You're living in a world.
You're living in that, right?
Yeah.
And you get that from the get-go, right? Whether it's like in the Harlem vibe, you get it, right? In Daredevil, you get it. Jessica Jones, you get that psychological trauma, right? You get that.
Yeah.
But this show has none of it. I think that's its biggest feeling.
None at all.
And I could have forgiven a lot of it if it just had that. The second thing was the plot. It just meanders.
I thought you were defending Finn Jones, though.
Okay,
so I agree with you that
that's my main point.
He might have had very little time to prepare, sure, and he's let down by terrible dialogue and a bad script, but also he just is not...
What can he do with the role? You tell me. Tell me what he can do with that script.
There are bits I found so odd. There are bits in the script that seem like they're meant to be jokes, except the way he delivers them.
Oh, yeah.
He just seems clueless.
Yeah.
Like my favorite, I told you, Madam Gao is, he's like, well, how are you doing today, Danny Rand? And he's like, well, at least I'm not in prison.
That's what I'm saying.
He comes up with a plan at some point, and someone says like, that's your plan? That plan sucks. And he's like, no, it does not suck.
It's a great plan. I'm the Iron Fist. This is my destiny.
Okay, guys, here's the problem, right? So I was watching the EW photo shoot sessions, right? And they're interviewing the 4 defenders which were done. And basically, he's like, everyone's talking about the character. Daredevil's he's a serious one. Jessica Jones doesn't want to be part of a team. Luke Cage is a centered one. And Danny Rand, he's like, Finn Jones is like, well, the thing is, like, I think Iron Fist is the only character who knows what's going on. And I think a lot of the plot of the Defenders might be to do with the hand or maybe to do with that stuff.
Really?
Because Madame Gao also mentions it in the thing saying there's a superior to her also, who I believe should be Sigourney Weaver. But now here's the thing, if Iron Fist is the one who knows what's going on,
then we're all in trouble.
He knows nothing.
He's a
Jon Snow.
He doesn't know anything at all.
And he's an Iron Douche.
Yeah. Look,
there's this great line where he's talking to Harold, and for some reason, for like 4 lines, everything just rhymes. He's like, what's the hand doing in Ran? And Meacham is like, well, you know what they demand when they resurrected me. And I'm like, this sounds like Hamilton suddenly.
Yeah. And the other thing is that I could not, like, he's so naive that he only found out that, like, Meacham is a villain by the last episode, like halfway through the last episode. I was like, this, because like in the 11th or 12th episode, he goes back and he's like, Harold, you're alive. And he gives him a big warm hug. And I was just like, this is happening,
You
man?
idiot.
This is still going on? Jeez.
This is why I think Ward is a great
take a minute
character.
out of the hating to enjoy the sheer absurdity of Harold Meacham?
Dude, he's so great.
He's so weird.
He's so weird, he's great.
He's so weird. He's in this freaking penthouse,
Oh
okay?
my God.
And he has this one assistant who's this
Kyle.
one person he gets to talk to in the world, who he treats like shit because he can, and he enjoys it because he's such a sadist.
He's
this,
excellent.
This poor fool is just like bumbling around a million times over, and he's just cutting people down badly and feeding off this. And then the best thing ever happens. He dies because Ward kills him.
Because of ice cream.
Some crazy psychodrama. And then, then the whole thing, he comes back and he's like, I have a new lease on life. I'm eating hot dogs and doing all this bizarre shit.
No, the best moment is when he kills Kyle.
Yeah.
And then he lies down next to him and he's like, I'm sorry.
And it's the ice cream. The ice
Amazing.
cream triggers it. And it's like...
But
you're like, wait,
to defend him,
1 second.
Kyle is an asshole, dude.
No,
I was like, dude, I
come.
was also like, dude, there's so much ice cream. You're asking for vanilla, dude.
Come on.
That's
It's a
so
completely
forced. Terrible writing.
1 second. If there's 50 ice creams in front of you, you will ask for something that you know will be there, like vanilla or chocolate or strawberry, because you're like, I'll eat this one first or whatever. I don't know. It might be his favorite flavor. Kyle, he sucks, clearly. Yeah. But then this guy's like, you don't want the cornflakes flavor? I'm telling you, he said cornflakes flavor.
He did.
Okay?
Organic cornflakes flavor.
All
right.
And
so
then
let's another
stabbed the dude in the head.
With a spoon.
It was amazing.
Okay, so the show we have established is bad. Let's talk about just that plot. What do you guys think of the Colleen being part of the hand and things like that?
Yeah. See, this is why
I actually enjoyed it. So I'll tell you what I enjoyed about that ending. Those last 4. It's just the fact that they finally addressed something real in the show, which is that, hey, you've gone to this school and you've come back with this frame of reference or whatever, the school of thought, literally, and that's all you have known. And that's why he's so naive. That's why he's a bit of an idiot. And the same thing goes for the hand, right? Like, we've seen the hand only do disastrous things under Madame Gao in Daredevil Season 2. We've seen what they've done to this one's friends. I mean, she doesn't let us forget it, Claire. And now when you see Colleen, who's like a really great character, who I really enjoyed because she's such a badass and she's really cute, and she's cool, and when we see that she's actually been part of the hand, I'm just like, no, it's like they've been giving us jobs and putting people in school and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I'm just like, okay, cool, that's great. But that whole difference in ideology, I think there was a great story there which they didn't exploit as much.
Yeah, I think the idea of her being in the hand and thinking that they're this noble organization that's like rehabilitating street kids is interesting. But they did not pull it off well.
No, they didn't. I mean, Bakuto was cool. I like that those last 3 episodes, while Bakuto is still kicking around, I think those had some meat to it. Like, it finally had a story I could watch and be part of.
It had a story, period.
Yeah, it had a story. Okay, and that's it. And then after that, it goes back to, I mean, the last episode is obviously with Meacham, and then I'm just like, okay.
No, but you know what? I really just don't buy this whole Colleen angle thing at all, you know? Because, okay, look, she went to it because she had nowhere else to go herself, and then it became a whole thing. But she clearly knows that she is the hand, and she's clearly strung him along.
She's not told him that as yet.
No, but she knows, okay? And throughout this whole thing, you don't see any kind of conflict within her.
Exactly.
It's like,
that's true.
It's like, switch turned on.
I agree.
I forgot I was in the hand, yaar. That's what it came across as. I don't think that she's an amazing badass.
They did not pull off that arc at all.
I don't understand why she went and randomly fought the cage fights and then at the same stroke went and hated on her student for doing it for real reasons.
I know.
Okay. And I'm like, why are you such a hypocrite? Yeah. Like, that just makes people unlikable.
I still like her.
I know you do, but I don't know. I just don't see the reasons.
I think she's a good character.
I thought the actress was good. I thought the character was not.
The character was shabby.
The actress actually pulls off, like, especially in like
she
the scenes where
she seems to know how to do some fighting of any kind.
Her scenes with Finn Jones are like those slightly rom-comish moments.
First of all, there's no chemistry there at all. There's no chemistry there at all.
I'm okay. I'm alright with it.
Like,
I'm a ship that.
Even the joke about he's never done it before came out like...
Well, yeah, there was a weird sex scene.
It didn't come out funny.
It
came out sad. Okay, like everything that they do together is sad. It's just her going, "Don't worry, you'll be okay. You'll be okay." It's like, "I'm okay. Don't worry, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. I'll be okay.
Except like right before they do it.
Oh, by the way, I'm the cause for all your troubles.
Her,
like, you know,
Finn, like Iron Fist,
Are you
Danny
sure?
Rand asks Colleen Wing,
Yeah.
"Are you sure?" And I was like,
Bro,
she should be like,
are you
"No,
sure?"
no, I'm
a
not
douche."
sure. Yeah. You need to
I
change
don't know
your
why she was
pants.
defending him so much. Yeah,
And
he's quite a douche, yeah.
There's one scene in this relationship that really destroyed it for me for sure. Was when they're in the building with Bokuto. And he's gone and he's found all this stuff about her, and Bokuto's holding Gao. Look at this, I can't believe this. And he comes back to their bedroom, and they're both arguing.
And then the next day,
they wake up.
They wake up together. Yeah, I found that damn bizarre.
I'm like, what are you going on about?
But you know, I felt like, wow, that's such a real relationship. They're like, we're gonna fight about this, but then we're gonna be okay.
That is the opposite of a real relationship. A real relationship is if you're with somebody and then they turn out to be your actual enemy in life. You question everything you've ever become, and you go as far away from them as possible so that they can't influence
But
you.
he
And he's just like,
pad
I'm very
there.
angry with you for being part of the hand, the one thing I've been trained for 15 years to destroy, the one that destroyed my family. I'm going to get you. But first I'm going to sleep.
Yeah. So I'm too tired for
And
this shit.
then they wake up again and they're like, oh, do you trust me? I don't know. Let's go for a walk.
So
what is going on?
Okay. So we've spoken a lot about the show. I wanted to bring up another point which I've been reading a lot about. It's like, hey, you know what could have saved the show? And I don't believe this at all, but like it is an interesting point. You know what could have saved this show? The guy, Louis Tan, the guy who was cast as Chao Zhen.
Yes.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah.
He was
the drunken master.
Yeah,
which is very that Jackie Chan drunken master kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And apparently he was supposed to be cast, and he did a number of auditions.
Yeah,
and
he got pretty far into the
process. And then they did. Do you think this show would have been better with an Asian American actor?
Here's the thing. I was going to actually write something about why this Orientalism thing doesn't quite apply.
Yeah.
And that you can't judge something simply based on the way things are, way ethnicity and race is cast, because you're just furthering that stereotype in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The problem is I couldn't write that because he was such an idiot in this show.
He couldn't have helped the cause of...
No, Danny Rand being a white, powerful billionaire just didn't help. And the character Danny Rand, besides his job occupation and background, didn't help even more.
Yeah.
So you can't defend it at all.
You can't defend it. No, it's a tough one, you know. It's a tough one because... I mean, a lot of people put the spotlight on Hollywood because it's one of the most powerful industries in the world to be diverse, right?
Yeah.
They're still just making movies about white people because that's the country they're in, and we should be doing.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody says about the Indian film industry. Why don't we have we're one of the most powerful industries in the world, but we have zero diversity within our country. As in in our own country, we have 8 actors who do all the roles, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, nobody holds a gun at their head. No one. I mean,
No.
and so it's a tough one.
I think it's a good fight because something like Luke Cage is having diverse groups of people make stuff does give you different perspectives. That much I agree with.
It just makes it better. No,
Having said that, this show would not have been helped with an Asian American actor.
Because of the people writing this show.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
it's a terrible show
That was
already.
my point.
Yeah,
that was my point. That the plot is the first problem, right? The plot itself is bad.
Yes.
Could it have been addressed with an Asian American actor to question the whole?
By the way, seeing how bad Finn Jones is and seeing that Louis Tan got so far into the audition process, plus he's got some legit martial arts chops.
He's a proper
That
martial
guy
artist.
looked
There's also no
scary.
excuse not to have cast an Asian American. There is no reason. It's the same reasoning behind why is there no Black Widow movies. It's a good idea, but we're not doing it.
But you know what?
Here's the other thing that
There's
they've
no
been
defense.
defending it as. It was so when they cast Tilda Swinton as the ancient one and everything, they said, "Oh, she's a Celtic ancient one." We're trying to say that these places. This is not it's not an ethnic kind of thing. It's not an ethnic casting because that place itself, Kamartaj or whatever, it has people from all.
Yeah.
And
You do see
similarly,
that, by the way.
they
You
said
do see that.
Similarly, they said that about Kunlun. So the
the
producers
Davos
were
is
the
a Brit guy.
Yeah, Davos is Brit. They said, people from. It's not. So when he was basically talking about the show, I think the showrunner, he was just basically like, so Kunlun this time is not an Asian thing. It's got people from different ethnicities who are part of it. Yeah, it's somewhere in Asia. The gate is somewhere in Asia.
That's defense he made up retroactively, though.
And it seems that way.
I think this show is not helped by the fact that, curly-haired white boy is doing those, lame-ass Tai Chi moves, because he just looks like such a douche, bro.
He was a very
get off,
big
man.
bro. Yeah.
But and here's the thing, Tejas, you could have continued there going, they're just different people, and we're just, in Asia doing a monastery that looks Buddhist, and it's Kung Fu, just Chinese, and, they all have Chinese names, but it's okay.
But it's everything.
But it's everything. We're only taking the best parts from their culture and making it UCB.
It's appropriation. I'm telling you, the day somebody calls Sting out for using that accent in a song, that's the day. No,
see, what I'm saying with this entire argument is, you put an Asian person named Danny Rand in this role and keep Joy Meacham and Ward Meacham as also Asian people, it would still suck.
Yes.
Of course.
That's the primary
you change
problem.
everyone Asian, the story is still bad.
The only thing that will change is no one will write long treatises about Orientalism.
Exactly.
And be hating on it for that reason.
Yeah, they'll hate on it for what they should be
for
hating
legit
on.
reasons.
So you've just given them another stick to beat you with for nothing. For free,
because there's
basically.
no reason, there was no advantage. It's
there was
not
no
like Finn
advantage.
Jones was spectacular.
No, look, my whole thing with this entire scenario is, I get it. The source material is a white man, and it's a white family, and a white billionaire, and it's a whole thing.
What would
again.
have been so interesting would have been what Asian Americans are going through every day, right? Which is when they go back home, they aren't from there either because they didn't grow up there, but they're not home in America either. And I think that itself is is a solid space to kind of occupy and question that, right? I'm talking about that, questioning the whole midlife crisis of it. That maybe would have been one way to do it. And I think just the entire plot itself, the guy, Louis Tan, apparently he's, we were just saying that he's a proper martial artist, so maybe the fighting would have been a little more legit. The role would have been more legit. You would have felt a little bit more. Maybe he was a better actor. Who knows, man? So I think that was one thing that I definitely wanted. I want to take one more break.
Yeah.
And we come back, and we're only going to talk about things we like about this show.
Okay, done.
All right?
Yes.
Done. All right.
Hi, I'm May, and I'm a huge fan of the indie music scene in our country. A scene that's relatively underground, even though it sometimes speaks its head overground, but there's no shortage of talent, and I get the privilege of interviewing some of the most awesome musicians on my show. I've had the likes of Euphoria, Krish Kale, Hardcore, Randolph Correa. I've had singer-songwriters, folk singers, electronic music producers, playback singers, rappers, fusion artists, instrumentalists, classical musicians, and so on. Whether mainstream or not, these people have chosen to release their original music, and these are the people currently shaping the direction in which our music scene is heading. Join me on my show every Monday and tune in to discover the unique talent coming out of India today.
Cool. We're back, still talking about Iron Fist. I think it's going to be something we're going to be talking about for a bit. We're leading up to the Defenders, but before we talk about the Defenders, tell me a few things that you did enjoy about the show. Let's stay a little positive about this.
I really liked Madame Gao. Madame Gao was a very interesting character.
Yeah, she always has been, even straight up from the Daredevil season 1.
But what's better about her in this show than Daredevil season 1 is she gets a lot of spotlight and she deserves it.
And also she takes his case so well.
And she does, and it's so satisfying because we dislike him so much that we're really happy that the villain is doing this. And you know what? It's an old lady. And this is her culture, and now you're seeing it. Now you're seeing this random white kid who thinks he knows lots of stuff, and she's like, "You're the worst Iron Fist. You are nothing. I've wiped the floor with people better than you. You are piddly."
Yeah, exactly.
And she's actually the only character that knows everything.
Yeah, she's that
and
infinite
you feel
knowledge
that.
character.
You feel that coming out of her, and that scares you. There's actual emotion.
She has some powers of her own, huh? In that one challenge, she just force pushes her away.
And then she sat in that prison for
super
3 days without anything affecting her, even though she got no food or water or anything. So
she casually mentions, I've been being interrogated since the 18th century.
Yeah, 17th century.
I'm ancient for real.
Yeah.
You know? And so she's amazing.
Yeah, she's great.
She could have been a villain in the caliber of Cottonmouth. Or, Punisher when he was an anti-hero.
Yeah.
She had the chops to do that.
She was a good actress as well.
Possibly she will play a bigger part in the...
Yeah. And
going forward.
Harold Meacham, before he went full Harold Meacham, was
never
pretty...
go full, man.
You never go full Harold Meacham. Leave the ice cream alone. But before he went all the way, he was kind of cool.
He's a good actor. He's an enigmatic character. Right?
Yeah, because he had the whole I know something you don't and I'm waiting to spring it on you.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's what everybody wants from a villain.
Yeah.
So they've continued to keep the Marvel villains strong.
In the Netflix
only world. They're all four of them all four series have produced good villains. At least solid. Even Bokuto was cool.
I did like him.
He was actually cool.
He was cool.
Like he did stuff.
He reminded me of something else, like some other character we've seen before.
He seems very familiar.
This character, right?
But he seemed much younger, much more like
with it.
You've seen all the 300-year-old grandmas who are running the show, but like this is what 30-year-old guys do in like the 2000s.
And if he's now the current leader of the hand, that would also be quite interesting.
So he's going to take it forward. You see him being like the future guy, until he's not.
What about you, Dinkar?
I think the thing I liked the most about the show was the little Bakuto arc. He was an interesting character. What he was doing seemed really interesting.
Yeah.
And that also collapsed. So, like you were saying, around episode 10 is when he's introduced? That's super late.
No, he's introduced earlier.
Can I just say he's a terrible leader, though?
Why?
Like, he can get his people to execute nothing.
This is true.
They couldn't kill Colleen properly. They couldn't.
But those are the heroes of the show. It's never going to happen.
No, they couldn't surround him. They couldn't do anything right.
Also, he's using kids.
Yeah.
It's basically slave labor.
And you know what's beautiful about it is anytime anything would go wrong, he just put a hand up and go, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just come back. It's okay. Let them escape. It's okay. Are you okay? You're the future, huh? You're the future. You broke your leg doing actually nothing.
Yeah.
See that one kid who was
that was
in
so
the dojo.
weird, right? He's like,
drop everything.
Take care of this
Listen,
guy.
drop everything. Iron Fist and Colleen and everyone have escaped, but this one kid has broke his leg.
He's committed to that father figure.
Yeah. Again, weird.
Yeah.
So that's around then when the Iron Fist and Colleen get away from the hand is when that arc also collapses.
Yeah.
Suddenly, like, Bakuto, who was an interesting character, becomes like a one-dimensional villain of sorts.
Sort of, yeah.
And then you go back into the Meacham arc, which is super messy.
Yeah,
so I think those couple of
messy.
episodes, like I think episode 9, 10, 11 were good.
Yeah.
And then it lost it again.
Yeah.
Although, I think my favorite was, I think, like I said it earlier, but I think Ward was definitely...
I was just going to say.
He was the best part of the show.
He was the best, I think, because like from like looking at him in the beginning, I was like, this guy is lame and weird. Like he literally grew on me like from when I finally saw his role at the end, I was just like, this guy is the real deal. Like he's a real person in the world, and he's done everything that he can in his power to kind of change things, fail. So he's so human. It was great.
He felt like a very real personality.
Real,
I think that's the actor's credit.
He is an excellent actor.
And he also delivered everything as if he couldn't believe it. He's like, you came back from the dead.
Yeah, he's a very unique delivery.
I love that.
He's amazing.
And what's great is you could see him feel this stuff and go, wow, that must feel painful. Or that I would need some heroin after dealing with these morons.
Dude, crazy.
He's got a great arc.
He's got a superb arc.
And he just survived, man. Like,
he's a survivor. He really does.
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta give it to that guy. Like he's
like
he's a great actor.
In the end, he was more beat up than anybody. But he looked baller walking out of that building.
Yeah.
Like he was shot. His dad hit him with a bat. It was all gone to hell.
Dad hit him with a bat.
It all went Pete Tong on him.
It went Pete Tong,
like,
full on.
But he walked out of there like, dude, I saved everything.
I know, withdrawal and all.
I'm going to sort this out. This fool keeps ruining the business and I have to keep saving that also.
I think he's got a very good moral stance also. Like, I mean, like, I felt bad for him because, like, Joy is, like, always on his case saying, you don't tell me anything. He's like, I'm genuinely trying to protect you. You have no idea. And, like, you think that maybe he's got his own agenda, which he may have. But he genuinely doesn't cared for his sister.
That's
like,
the
I love
weird
that.
thing, Tejas, that is very interesting about his character.
Yeah.
The thing I hate most about American sort of action sitcom type things is this I have to protect you business. Okay? I can never do it. Even in Japanese anime, it's done better. Okay? And then the second bit is that he really doesn't have an interest of his own. He wants to be rich and successful and keep his family rich and successful.
He wants to take care of his sister. And the other thing is that he wants to leave Rand.
Also, they are the only two people that have a genuine bond. In this entire show, you can tell brother and sister actually are
looking out for each other.
Actually looking out for each other.
Very true.
Nobody else in the show had anything legitimate at all. And that was a cool relationship because I didn't mind the cutaways to the two of them.
Yeah.
And their little interplay.
Yeah. Because he's set out as a pretty big douche. Like, they show this very few flashbacks of him basically mistreating Danny Rand as a kid, so he has a grudge against him his whole life.
On the nose.
And now I don't mind that he mistreated him.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
We totally get it.
What? I'm on your side.
Yeah. What? It's awesome, right? How that happened.
If I was your age and he was that age, I would bully him.
I would kick the shit out of him.
I would bully him.
Yeah. Look
at his hair. How does he have that hair?
Oh my god.
Look at that hair, man.
Come on.
Girls. Anyway, it was great. Alright, so that's Iron Fist. Final thoughts of it leading up to the Defenders. Defenders going to be a much shorter season, 8 episodes only. Different characters. A lot of returning characters. So, apart from Sigourney Weaver is playing the primary antagonist, we're going to have Colleen Wing, we're going to have Claire Temple, we're going to have Hogarth. Who's does carry on? She doesn't age.
Yeah,
she does not age.
She looks amazing.
She looks better than she was playing
I really
Trinity.
liked her role.
She was because
superb.
she's a consummate performer. And she has a proper role. They've given her a good role. She's this no nonsense kind of lawyer. Yeah. Even when she tells, he's like, I'm the Iron Fist. He's like, okay, I don't know. That's the first thing you don't say in court.
Yeah,
right?
and I love that. And I don't have time for this.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not hugging, so deal with it.
Yeah. So she's good.
Again, what a douche. He sees her after 20 years and he goes J-Money.
Yeah.
She should have been keep walking, dude. I am out.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Defenders? Excited?
I'm really excited for Defenders, but in conjunction with Iron Fist, I really hope they don't have to carry him.
They won't be carrying him. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about the fact that...
It just feels like they're going to carry him.
Carry him as in I think obviously with all the feedback they've got on this show, I think the second season will be much better. I think Defenders will make him a much better defender. I think they still have to resolve the ending of this show, which is going to Kunlun and seeing that it doesn't exist anymore. So the past is closed or whatever has happened. So they're going to have to address that. And they have very little time to do it. This is 8 episodes. So they have no time to lose. They're going to have to jump straight into the story. So I think that's going to be interesting for sure.
That's part of the reason I'm excited for Defenders. 8 episodes is a good length.
But for so many characters, think about it, right?
Exactly. So hopefully you can gloss over the weaker bits of it.
And just dive in.
And honestly, man, they have too much time. That's the actual criticism for Marvel Netflix.
8 hours is enough.
Dude, 13 hours for all these shows. None of the shows have not faced a lull, at all.
All of them have lulled.
I think Daredevil season 1 maybe got the closest without being to being flawless.
That show would have been nothing without Foggy Nelson picking up and doing B plots.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so
all of them are great in that show.
There's no other character in any of the other shows that have B plots.
Yeah.
There's only Foggy Nelson doing it.
This is true.
So Daredevil is nothing without his support.
No, but I do want to say, I think Charlie Cox makes that show a lot. He is a
very.
I like that's Daredevil for me. From the comics straight, if you take the character, put him on screen.
I like it. I think Daredevil is the gold standard with Luke Cage up there.
Yeah,
and Jessica Jones is right behind.
Yeah.
But
Iron Fist has to
I don't know. Luke Cage still that the second half of that season was once Diamondback comes in was such a letdown that I actually kind of hate it.
Yeah, Diamondback was
Jessica Jones was great. I'd say Jessica Jones is number 2 for me.
I'd still say Luke Cage is number 2 for me after Daredevil. I think Daredevil season 1.
No, I'm saying Daredevil on top and then Luke Cage.
But
oh man, that second half of Luke Cage again. A great argument for having 8 episode seasons is how downhill Luke Cage went.
Yeah, that's true.
It just
totally
suddenly
true.
flipped.
I think we didn't feel it as much as Iron Fist because it was consistently
there was one episode where Luke Cage wasn't even there.
Yeah,
where he was asleep in the vat or something because he got shot. And then they just did the villains, man.
But
the
I like
villains,
how they took the science fiction, put it in a very realistic show.
Sorry.
That's
Before this gets over, I just want to say the trick that was missed was Kunlun itself because this is a science fiction plot.
Yeah.
And they just didn't address it. It was a
the
full
way they
sci-fi
addressed
mystery.
I think the lamest thing was possibly how they showed Shao Lao, the dragon.
Yeah.
Which was the 2 lights on top of the building while he's just there.
Yeah.
And he's reminded of the eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, that's how you're going to do this? Oh my God.
Also, can we quickly talk about the actual fist looking like it was made out of plastic or
I'm okay with it.
I wasn't a big fan
really, with
of
all
it.
the problems in this show, I was like, it's fine.
I think that's the...
It's basically, what we used to do when we had kids.
You shine the torch through your head.
It looked like that.
That's kind of what I was going for, but yeah.
Chalo guys. Alright, this was Iron Fist. We're going to be reviewing Defenders in a few months. When is it out? I think in November. If I'm not, they've not put a date to it. I think it's November.
Year.
Yeah, it's in the fall, I think. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, even though this show kind of was a bit substandard.
I think I'm still pumped for
still
Defenders.
there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very excited.
Cool. So, if you guys have any thoughts on Iron Fist or the Defenders or any of the Netflix Marvel shows, write to us at contactgeekfruit@gmail.com, or you can write on our website at the contact tab, which is geekfruit.in. You can also find us on all social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at geekfruithq. Siddhant and Dinkar, where can we find you guys on Twitter?
Siddhant_Mehta. I think last time I gave my wrong Twitter handle, but yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
Siddhant_Mehta. I am at Dinks Thinks.
All right. And I'm at Tejas Menon. And yeah, that's our episode. Cool. Thanks a lot for being here.
Thanks.
You nerds.
Hey man, just help me out, man. I need some podcast, man. I haven't had a fix in a week. Just need some.
Don't you worry about it. I got podcasts galore for you, man. Just go to ivmpodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna check it out.